welcome everybody. We're here to talk about Iron Man 2. What did you think of this one?
Yeah. So amongst the MCU movies, this one was definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
I remember, and so 2010 for me, my head was buried down into, I was working full time. I was going to school, grad school full time. Was married, had 2 children. So I didn't get to see this in the theaters. I didn't get the fanfare of this. I got into like down towards Thor and other movies as they began to come out, and had to go back and watch Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what kind of spoiled it for me. After watching the Avengers, the actual Avengers team-up movie, or watching Captain America, where I actually really connected to that movie, or Thor, which we're going to talk about in our next episode, which was actually a spiritual transformation for me. Going back to watching a guy put on a metal suit and fight a guy with whips, I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
But my understanding is that you experienced that a little bit differently.
Well, yeah, because I saw it in theaters, and I was like watching them as they came out, because I've been watching superhero movies since Batman in 1989. So I've watched every superhero movie that's come out.
For sure.
And so, yeah, it was a little different for me. And, and I don't know. I know that we'll get into this, but, 2010, I'm trying to think where I was in 2010. It was about 2 years before I'd met you.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is crazy.
I know. Weird that we've known each other for 14 years, and even fucking more weird that it's been 14 years.
I know. Yeah.
That's a lot.
What is time?
Yeah, I know. It's a construct.
I mean, COVID was like almost 5 years ago?
It's so weird. Yeah.
6 years ago. Almost 6 years ago. Because it's kind of technically started in 2019.
March 13th.
That was 2020
was when everything shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
COVID started spreading at the end of 2019.
Yeah, one day when we have a get to know you episode, we'll talk about what happened in my life right in that space. It was insane. What a gift. Well, I actually, with all the pain that COVID caused, you never want to waste a good crisis, and it was there was a real intersection of elements for me that finally got me out of the trading time for money conversation with other people's companies, and I was actually finally able to launch my own. It was really interesting.
Sure.
And like me at 2020, really me in 2017 would not recognize 2026.
Sure.
Not even close.
I mean, yeah, there's so much about my life that I would have never thought that I would be at this point in my life, even 5 years ago, let alone in 2010.
Right.
We're talking about, this is 16 years ago. So I was, how old was I? I'm 39. What is the math on that? Help me out.
23.
I have dyscalculia, so I can't count backwards in my head.
Yeah, so you were 23.
23. I was 23, dear God. So I was in a very different place in life. And it actually, and honestly, the movie didn't really, I probably would agree with you that it didn't hit the same, or it hit like the first one did, But, and we'll get into this, but like, there's so many aspects of this movie that actually, like, in some ways better than the first one.
Really?
At least the third act, but we'll talk about that later. Let's do some like opening statements here. Opening statements? What am I saying?
Yeah, right.
Opening
Your
statements, yeah. Some little fun facts, maybe. This was the second and last movie Jon Favreau directed.
Sad.
That's gonna be a big what if when we get to Iron Man 3 of like what would that movie been like if he actually would have finished the trilogy, But because there was so much about this that I very much enjoyed, and I think a lot of it is because it's Jon Favreau, and I just enjoy his storytelling. There's certain aspects of the way he does things that I really like.
Yeah, he was a sleeper for me until The Mandalorian, because at that point Jon Favreau had become a real name for me because I'd watched him as Happy.
Yeah, sure.
And I didn't realize that he had directed Elf. I didn't realize I didn't know he had director chops.
Yeah.
And it was, I go back to these now and go, damn, these are good movies.
Yeah.
But like, for me, Favreau sort of, the Favreau lotus flower unfurled in The Mandalorian.
Sure. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And what's funny is I haven't seen The Mandalorian.
I hope that he finds out that I said that.
Yeah.
I want him to.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll
I want him to hear that he's a lotus flower in my head.
Well, the budget on this one was up to $200 million, up $60 million from Iron Man 1. So
okay, that's nice.
I think that definitely showed in some of the scenes, especially in Act 3. Yeah, and it got $623 million worldwide, which is, I would say, a success.
Yeah, it's a win.
I think there was a lot of pressure following up such a surprise hit and then being like, how do we follow up with that? I mean, there's even like talk, I think Jon Favreau has actually said in the past about like likening it to like a band that had a really big hit off their first album, and the album was really good, and they're like, how do you follow this up? I had so many years, so much time to work on that first album. Yeah. How do you follow it up in 2 years? Because like,
that's right.
There's a pretty I don't know if it's famous, but it's an infamous story, I think. David Maisel took Favreau and RDJ out to dinner, and took them out and was like, so, and he just wanted to show his appreciation. And even got Ike Perlmutter to get in on this, if anybody remembers this dude from the first couple episodes we were talking about him. Big penny pincher. He even approved this because he knew how important it was now to try to keep them on. Right. But he basically said David Maisel had gotten with their wives at the time, or their significant others, and figured out what their dream car was, and bought them both their dream car. RDJ's dream car was a custom-made one, so it wasn't there. But when they walked out of dinner to the parking lot, the car was waiting on them, at least for Jon Favreau, which is crazy. Huh.
What's your dream car?
What is my dream car?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Ooh, what is my dream car? I have two different categories.
Okay, yeah.
Old hot rod version in that category is probably a 1965 Shelby Cobra.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
It's a fun car, and I've always wanted to drive one. I see them at car shows all the time, and I'm like, oh, I want to drive that so bad. And they always are in like the perfect color, like the blue with the white stripes.
Oh yeah, I love that you went there, because I actually do. My two dream cars. I have one that's a modern car and one's an older car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are yours? I'll try to think of mine.
My modern car, and it's probably just marketing. But like, I'm really interested in Lucid.
Lucid?
Yeah. They're luxury electric vehicles.
Oh,
so
okay.
Right at the time that Elon Musk was like, we're going to make a cheap electric car, Lucid was like, bet. We're going to make an expensive electric car.
Yeah.
And the cars look incredible.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So they do like, and that's the big design flaw with all electric vehicles, has been they look like crap. And Lucid was like, we'll fix that.
I've seen these cars. I know what you're talking about.
They're quite pretty.
Because they have like different kind of like headlights and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got it. Now for the muscle car, and this one is a direct, I almost want to just give it as an Easter egg rather than actually round the corner for you and tell you where I saw it. But it's a 1967 black Chevy Impala.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And for any listener that knows that that's Baby from Supernatural, that is the car that Dean and Sam went to. And of course, I want the trunk popped.
Yeah.
With some demon warding on it, and like holy water and salt and a rock salt shotgun to fight a ghost. That's because he has a false bottom in the.
I haven't seen Supernatural, so you're talking to me. I'm like just trying to track with you.
Yeah,
so I have no idea what you're talking about.
In the trunk, they kind of always have this moment. Baby, the car ends up kind of becoming a character. It's the car they always drive.
Gotcha.
And when they pop the trunk, there's a false bottom that they pop up.
Yeah.
And then use a shotgun to lock it up, and then there's like weapons to fight all kinds of monsters. So like this is a silver blade to fight the whatever. Anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So if I get a 1967 black Chevy Impala, I'm definitely going to put that in the trunk too.
Yeah, for sure. Why wouldn't you? There's a car that I saw that was like it's like one of those souped up police cars.
Yep.
It's in this area. Yeah. And but it looks like it has like mud and everything all over it, and it says the Umbrella Corporation on the side of it.
Oh yes.
And it has like literal fake guns on it.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. Dude, he's gets pulled over all the time. Literally looks like Gatling guns on the side of the car. Yeah. and then there's the old Jeeps that look like Jurassic Park. They always make them look like that. Oh, I love that
that's
too.
Cool. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's my muscle car is in fact a muscle. There's no computer on that car. But then turn around, I want a Lucid, which is a computer.
The opposite. Yeah.
It's a driving computer. Yeah. Okay.
I really always. I'm a simple man. Most of my life, I've always wanted a Jeep Wrangler, like a really good one.
Yeah.
And just never have, because that's for sure an extra car. It's not a main car. And so I've never been able to justify or have the money to actually afford one.
I love that my car is $150,000 and yours is like $45,000.
50.
Right. That's right. That's right. One of us has expensive tastes.
Yeah. I mean, I can go up, you know, to
that's right. It could be a flying Jeep.
We could say that we could go either side of the spectrum of within the Shelby world and do like a Ford Shelby GT as my like sports car, like high end.
Sure.
Because those are pretty badass.
Yeah. There's a fantastic person in my life that just got a Jeep, and man, she loves it.
Yeah.
She tears it up.
I love them.
It's a big old white Jeep, the hardtop, and she calls it Judge Judy.
Nice.
You're right. Shout out to Judge Judy.
Shout out to Judge Judy.
And
love that.
what's really funny about it is the onboard computer does get a little judgmental if she's speeding. She'll be like, the speed limit is 35 miles an hour. Like, damn, Judy, like, chill.
Okay.
So it's fun.
The Wranglers are getting smarter.
Yeah, that's right. So I mentioned that in 2010 when this hit, I was head down in grad school. This all is, I had to nomad my way into this stuff, which I'm really grateful I did. But where were you? 2010. You're living here.
Yeah.
And for like Chattanooga area, this is where you're from.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yeah.
That's where we are. And then so you're 23. At this point, you're working as a musician.
Any artist will know that you're always,
you're always
working as a musician, even if
right.
you have 3 other jobs.
Pardon me. Yeah.
So yes, I was a working musician. Also had like 3 other jobs.
Of course.
I mean, and that's something that's a whole other side rabbit trail is how many jobs I've actually had in my adult life.
So many.
I've had, I bet I'm going on probably 40 probably jobs. Yeah. In my adult life.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Starting from 15 on, I've been working jobs everywhere.
Yeah. If we count W-2s, I have probably a normal number.
Yeah.
But one of mine was a naval nuclear power electrician who also was a lead petty officer for a damage control division and fought and had 2 fire teams underneath me. So, like, if we put a list of jobs that I felt qualified to do, there's a lot.
Sure.
But
okay.
It's like, oh yeah, we could talk
Flex.
about. Yeah, I mean, right. Well, it's
if we talk about like all the jobs I think I can do.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, no. I mean, like jobs I have done.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I have fought multi-million-dollar fires, and what's crazy about that?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of shout outs to how do you get it? So I grew up in Southeast Texas. And there's only 2 ways out of Southeast Texas. One requires a felony charge, so I picked the other one. I joined the military, and that worked. It worked. I got out of Southeast Texas without a felony charge. Committed all my felonies in the military.
Yeah,
I'm kidding about that.
Sure.
But, right. I'm kidding about
kidding.
that. Definitely didn't commit felonies in the Navy.
Nobody ever does in the military. So.
That's right. Particularly not
war crimes.
2026 right now. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. This is not a political podcast. However,
we'll see about that. Let's wait till we get to.
That's right.
Let's wait till we get to Civil War.
Or Ultron. I mean, like,
Ultron.
We have to talk a lot about oversight at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, taking a 19-year-old, turned 19 in boot camp, taking a 19-year-old and turning him into a 25-year-old man. That took a lot, and it took a lot of like learning skills that I just never learned as a kid. So, anyway,
for sure. Where were we?
Getting to the origin.
That's right. So let's go back to dinner. So they're sitting at dinner, and David Maisel looks at Jon Favreau and RDJ and goes, "So, we in for Iron Man 2 in 2 years?"
Wow.
And he said, "If you guys are in, I'll greenlight it right now."
Oh wow.
So 2 years that you have to make the entire movie. And I definitely think that if there is a negative side to the movie, you could feel that a little bit, and we'll get into that. But you could feel a little bit of the rushed essence of it. They had all this time to do Iron Man 1. Iron Man 2 was very much like, and honestly, like I was looking at the schedule and there was nothing really between. Like everything kind of came out. It was like Iron Man, and then you had the Hulk, and then nothing for like a year and a half. Like 2009, nothing came out, I think.
Yeah.
And so, there was some time there. They were definitely wanting to like keep the ball rolling, and I get that. That makes sense, especially with like this crazy. These 2 movies are the most success Marvel's have had in years, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Especially on the big screen. So,
right.
It's a big deal. But yeah, so
and some of that like owes to, like, there was a lot of momentum on that that you wanted to capture.
Yeah.
But then the problem with momentum is that it needs to keep feeding itself. And when you get into when you get into phase 4, 5, and 6, suddenly you're seeing like 5 or 6 movies released a year. And if you haven't watched the other 37,
right.
Like, and which is something we'll talk about at the end of this, where all the way fast forwarding all the way to the Fantastic Four, where they finally gave us a standalone movie.
Yeah,
it's just been a while since we had one,
right? Yeah.
And so I actually kind of appreciate the pace of releasing a movie every year, one a year, one every 2 years.
Agreed.
But I'm with you on this. It did feel a little like, particularly when we get into the Thor. Get into the Thor episode,
the Thor of it all.
Yeah, that was such to me a complex story.
Right.
There's a lot of complexity to it, particularly in the Loki character.
Sure.
And to find this one, which was, in my opinion, less complex, it was pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Hey, there's a guy that was mad, and now he's not mad because we beat him.
Yeah, well, let's not get too into the spoilers.
Sorry, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Jon Favreau was definitely super hesitant to do this movie, and because he remembered the stress and like literally like pulling his hair out.
And did they have a script at this point?
No, cool. Definitely not. I'm gonna hopefully I don't butcher this name. Justin Theroux, I think French. He signed on. French.
Okay. You know those French writers.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, and he's best known as an actor in David Lynch movies, oddly enough. Mulholland Drive, he was in. Never saw many, upsettingly for myself, I've never actually seen that many David Lynch movies. But he actually met Downey on Tropic Thunder, where he was a writer. So it was like his kind of, I don't know if that was like his first, go as a writer. It was definitely probably his first big one. And man, what a movie to come from.
Right. Yeah.
I definitely think there was a rush timeline on it, and I definitely felt that. And after, I think that there was all of this supposed to be happening in the same week as The Incredible Hulk, timeline-wise.
Right.
Which is crazy, and there's definitely some like hints of that. I thought that was kind of interesting. RDJ is definitely a little bit more confident in this movie.
Yeah,
I felt like he was really kind of coming into his own. Maybe that was the jump from $500,000 salary to $10 million.
it will change things. Yeah, that's right.
Right, and then I'm sure we'll say this again. Fast forward to Avengers, but the Avengers deal that he did was actually the best deal, and I don't know if anybody else got this deal, but to sign on to do Avengers, which meant many more movies probably too, he signed on to get 10 million plus royalties, which made him hundreds of millions of dollars.
Of course.
So like that alone is insane to me.
I want to talk a little bit about the alcoholism undertow in this. Yeah. Because this is part of the writing.
And they definitely wanted to.
It's called Lightning in a Bottle?
Lightning in a Bottle is the storyline from 1979, where Tony definitely has alcoholism, and they even shot footage of this version. Right. And Kevin Feige's like, no, this is too bleak. We can't make him, indefensible. Like there has to be something about him that still carries the story forward that we don't hate.
Yeah, I mean, you see, so it's important to me to watch our hero struggle. That's important to me, and you see it in Hawkeye, where he's struggling with being deaf after years of. You see it in Iron Man 3, where he's got PTSD following going through a portal and fighting sending a nuke at an alien ship. Yeah, you see those moments. For every person in recovery watching an alcoholic fall apart, it would be a really fascinating story. But yes, probably too early in our arc. Yeah, we would have gone from loving Tony Stark to hating him.
And too early in superhero movies to go there.
Right.
What was the first, besides Deadpool, like the movie that I remember really going there was Logan.
Logan did a great job.
It became one of my favorite superhero movies of all time.
That's
it was not about, who gives a shit that he was Wolverine. Like it was about this very deep character that we knew so well. Right. And so we're with him through this struggle that's awful. And he's turned into this terrible person. But then also has this redeeming like story arc at the end. I think there was so much of that was amazing. And hell, that was one of it was nominated for awards, I'm pretty sure. I might be making that up. I know that somewhere, usually the ones that were taken more seriously, get awards. Like shout out to the Joker.
Wow, yeah.
The first one, not the second one. But yeah, not lightning in a bottle, demon in a bottle.
Demon
in a bottle. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
I'm glad you figured that out because like we would have gotten hate mail.
Maybe.
Get it right.
Maybe nobody gives a shit.
That's right. Some of us.
How many people really know that anyway? You know, I'm just a nerd. But yeah, so there was a line. The opening scene was supposed to be Tony puking into a toilet on the plane, and Pepper coming up to him and saying, "You look like you do. You look like you look every day. You look like you have a hangover." And it's just like, damn. All right, so I think that brings us to the pull list. Let's talk about let's dig into it a little bit. We got to start with the Senate hearing.
Yeah.
We just have to go. I've been thinking about this. I've been excited to talk about this for a while now.
Yeah, go for it.
It's such a great scene. And it's when we're first introduced to Sam Rockwell's character. What's his name? Justin Hammer?
Justin Hammer. That's right.
Yeah, Justin Hammer. And I remember reading that Sam Rockwell was so intimidated by RDJ in the scene because almost all of it was improvised.
Oh, wow.
And he was just quick-witting, just spitting out these lines. And so all of that back and forth between them is just him trying to keep up with him. Mm-hmm. And you could really feel that tension in the scene. And every time I see it, I laugh. It's so good. It's just so good. Yeah. I almost completely forget that they just completely threw Don Cheadle in there like he'd always been there.
That's right. Well, that's actually interesting. It was he almost kind of fourth walls that. He walks up to RDJ and he goes, "I'm here. It's me. Deal with it."
Yeah.
And that's true. That's a little moment where he's like, "Yeah, I'm not Terrence Howard."
That's true.
Yeah,
I didn't really think of it that way.
It's a great little Easter egg there for I'm here, deal with it.
Yeah.
That's his first, this is not James Rhodes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Fun fact about that scene too. They, I don't know why they didn't do cardboard cutouts, but they filled a lot of the crowd with blow up dolls with hats and suits and everything on, and that's just
because if I wanted to be comfortable on a set, I'd want RDJ improvising in a room full of blow up dolls.
Downey actually addressed the cast and crew that day and said, I made sure this is in my notes, "You may see us occasionally acting like we're on the verge of performing sexual favors on each other and or like we're not speaking. Do not be alarmed by either of these. It's just this symbiosis of working together," talking about literally him and Jon Favreau.
Wow.
So he really isn't that much different,
Yeah, it apparently is a room full of blow-up dolls with him and Jon Favreau. Yeah, so things that really hit for me, of course, there's a moment where he's like, "I'll take Secretary of Defense if it's open," which is a nod to his portion of the comics where he was, in fact, for a brief time, SecDef.
Yeah.
And it also did start a conversation around what is Iron Man.
Yeah.
You hear the senators call it the Iron Man suit or the Iron Man program. You hear him say, "I am Iron Man. This is a high-tech prosthetic."
And it is me. Yeah.
It is me.
Right.
It's a high-tech prosthetic. I am Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And that does set up a whole set of identities. It's going to lead us through, again, the conversation about Ultron. It's going to lead us to the conversation about the Sokovia Accords.
In this very movie, we get that entire idea is challenged when there are other suits at play in the storyline, right?
Right.
Like we get War Machine for the first time.
Yeah. You want to be the War Machine?
Yeah.
That was a great moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was so great. What was another scene that stuck out to you that you put on this list?
DJ, drop a beat so I can kick my friend's ass.
Yeah.
That's a great
Because
again, he is drunk. He just relieved himself.
Demon in a bottle.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And now he's like, you know what? I'm gonna get in this fight, play some music, and and shout out to what's his name, DJ A. Oh, I'm gonna get DJ AM. Yeah, he's passed away before the end of the movie, and they dedicated the movie to him.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll look that up and put it in the comments or something because because that was a dedication.
That's me not reading the credits for you right
That's
there.
right. That's right. Just waiting for the end credit scene. Like,
I skipped to it just so I could remember it all. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, yeah. I think that we had Terrence Howard at the end of Iron Man going, "Next time, baby."
Yeah.
So we knew that there was always the more that Rhodes is going to be in the story, the more likely he's going to become War Machine or eventually the Iron Patriot. But yeah, having that moment where he walks up and he's like, "Everybody get out," and he's like, he's in the Mark II. That's a good moment for me. It's like, okay.
And how they end the scene with him Tony screaming at everybody, and then you see just like the reflection of his mask while everybody's running out of the way. Like, man. And then we can't forget the foreshadowing moment where they both shoot the laser at each other, and it creates this crazy I don't know how realistic it is, but this crazy like reaction,
Right.
this like chemical reaction that makes it explode.
Yep. Yep, that's right.
Man, that poor house.
It's been
It really
destroyed
gets destroyed many times.
every time.
And I mean, like we never see it after Iron Man 3 because it's in the ocean.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this poor house, it just really goes through. Because the first movie, he tries to turn his engines off, or his engines. What am I in? Steampunk. He turns his like jets off or whatever. I don't know what do we call these? Thrusters. We'll call them thrusters. And he falls through the ceiling, through the floor, and all the way down.
It's such a good moment too. That's a little bit more episode 1, but man, I love that moment where he's like trying to land.
Yeah.
And he drops and just.
But I will say this, because this is the very first thing you really see post that scene with in the hearing, is that he jumps out of a plane and goes full speed down to the ground and then lands on a stage and does nothing to the ground. They've already established that thing is heavy enough to fall through 2 ceilings.
Yeah, that's right. So he must be doing well now. He's learning how to land.
Yeah, I guess we're on our way to the whatever that what is it called? The suit that just like is like nanoparticles.
Oh yeah, nano suit,
nanotech suit.
Yeah,
nanotech.
That's right.
That's what I was thinking of.
Your favorite suit.
My favorite suit.
It's
which
not
is
your favorite
not
suit.
my favorite suit. I liked the heavy. Like it felt more tactile, and this was probably my favorite versions of the suit is in this movie. I think. I thought. I mean, I think that the. Speaking of the suit, actually, when he's sitting, it kind of brings me to my next scene in the pull list is the donut shop scene, which is iconic.
Sitting inside the donut.
Yeah, sitting inside the donut, eating a donut.
Yeah, that's right.
But with his suit, and he's like licking his fingers, but it's the suit, and I'm like, how is that exactly happening? It does have this like. I noticed it has this panel that comes up off his hand, and so maybe his hands are supposed to be exposed a little bit, but it is kind of funny, and that's where we're introduced to the fact that. Was her name Natalie Rushman?
Yeah,
is not Natalie Rushman.
Yeah, she is.
Is in
Natasha
fact
Romanoff. That's right.
The Black Widow. Yep. Yeah, and we also get some kind of like sense of when this is happening because he's like, I've had a busy week,
Yeah, and this is also our first real look of Nick Fury with more than like a dark room and a lamp. Like we actually get to interact with him a little bit here, and suddenly Shield. And actually, to go back to the courtroom scene where Hammer says he's got a sword and he's calling it a shield, and there's a real moment there where you're looking at shield and sword, 2 different aspects of the same group. So there's kind of nods to the fans as they're kind of building that up, moving forward back to the donut shop. And you've got Nick Fury sitting down and saying, and of course, is this the moment where he was going to say assorted mutants and had to say assorted misfits or something like that because Fox they hadn't bought Fox yet.
Maybe. I do remember some bit of that, but it's not in my notes, so I'm not exactly sure, but I do remember some bit of that for sure.
Green Men and swinging on that. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe it was a Spider-Man thing actually. No. So there was a Spider-Man line that was supposed to work its way into one of those movies and it didn't, but it's just so interesting how they have to this was when they were first figuring out how to navigate so many things, so many moving parts. I think that, and I still don't know if until we get to the stinger, the after credit scene, I remember being in the theater and thinking like, this is great. This is a good second movie in this thing. We had this one other off like Incredible Hulk. It's not the first spinoff we'd seen at that point, so it's like, oh, whatever, and it isn't until the stinger that we realized, oh, this is actually happening. Like we're actually making these come together, these characters. So, so it wasn't really, even in that scene, the donut scene, I don't think that it was like something that I was like, oh, they're going to pull in the Incredible Hulk into Iron Man. I just don't remember thinking that. Like they talk about like Fury's big week and like the screens in the background are actually showing Incredible Hulk footage.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So like they really tried to like stick it in there and him being like, I'm the realest person you're ever going to meet.
Yeah. Next on my pull list, and I think it's supposed to be a joke. But it hit kind of weird for me, which was when the ex-wife, whenever he shoots the ex-wife and I think it falls off. Because you have that you have that Justin Hammer moment where he's like, he's stereotypical.
He's trying to be Tony so bad.
Yeah, that's right. You got this and you got that.
And he's being a salesman all the way. Right. He's like, but you don't want that. And he's just like trying to get a read on him, and he's just moving up and up and up,
Yeah, that's right. And but the way he describes the ex-wife, and he's like,
it's like the crowning achievement of his career.
Right. Yeah, that's right. It's like if it was any smarter, he'd be reading a book. Or he'd write a book, and then
read it to you.
That's right. And then he's like, and his book would make it look like the what did he say? Ulysses was written in crayon.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Ulysses was written in crayon.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a little bit like
that's kind of fun.
I don't know if you remember like Happy Gilmore. There was a guy in there that would always make those weird statements like and Grizzly Adams had a beard, and they're like shooter Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Yeah,
he did the same thing in this movie where they're like make you think that Ulysses was written in crayon. It's like it was written in crayon.
That's actually
it's a good funnier. It's a good moment.
That's a good moment.
Yeah, that's right. So I did like that scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also as a salesman, watching that guy cringy sale, I was like, oh my gosh,
it felt so cheesy. Yeah. To say something else on that, another note on that scene that you brought up though, when he shoots the ex-wife and it hits it. The best part of the joke of that was like whatever. Mm-hmm. It's when Tony looks at him and goes, "Hammer tech," and he goes, "Yeah." It's so good.
Right. That's right. And you do get to see one of the things I love about Don Cheadle playing the War Machine, playing Rhodey, is that he brings in he brings in sarcasm.
Yes.
He brings in irony. He brings in what are pretty complex comedic elements that I don't think Terrence Howard brought.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so to have him come in and be like, oh, man, I'll take it all,
And we maybe would have never gotten that because it might have been Don Cheadle coming into the situation to even make Favreau and them think, we should go this direction with this character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we don't know that, so like it could have been a whole different world. While we're on the topic, we got to talk about how Don Cheadle accepted the role.
No,
it's a fun little story. So
I don't know this story. Go ahead.
So he got a call from Marvel saying, "Hey, we want you for this role. We're switching it out, and we want you to think about doing this. It's going to be a multi-movie deal. It's going to take up a lot of years of your life." And he gets this call at his daughter's birthday party, and he goes, and they were like, well, "Okay, so you have an hour to decide." And he goes, "I'm at my daughter's birthday party." And he goes, and the person on the line goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll give you 2 hours." And so I love the scene, painting this picture in my head so he's talking it through with his wife, and they're literally playing laser tag while they're talking it through. In this maze, I would imagine, and they're like, I just imagine them like sitting like back to the wall, hands up, and she's like, "Do you really want? I think you should do this." They're like, "What have you done?" And he's like, "Choo, choo, choo." I mean, I don't know, like just going back and forth, and it's like, but he makes that realization that he's literally sitting in a situation, shooting a gun and pretending to be a superhero, and he's like, "Shit, I think I want to do this."
Yeah, that'd be a great thing.
And of course that changed his entire career in a different trajectory. Like I'm sure he was always going to be great. Don Cheadle's amazing. I've loved him in everything he's in. But I love that scene. I love that idea. Like, and of course he calls back and says yes, and here we are.
Yeah. He's another one of those characters throughout the entire MCU, similar to like Wong, where they come up in these moments to tie together broader storytelling elements. Like you get Don Cheadle, you get Rhodey as a Skrull later on in Secret Wars or Secret Invasion. And so they. What's crazy about that, and I know that you know this too. This is primarily a money issue.
Yeah,
you can't have Robert Downey Jr. playing 37 movies. He doesn't have the time, energy, and there's definitely not the budget for it.
Yep.
And so what you have to do is you have to take these other people who would love to have multiple movies.
Yeah.
And be paid fine, maybe not paid 20, 50 million a movie or get royalties at hundreds of millions of dollars, but be paid fine and keep coming up to tie us into the story elements. You have to have them. You have to have an Emil Blonsky show up later in She-Hulk. You have to have, whether or not we're going to talk about She-Hulk later is going to be fun, but you have to have a Don Cheadle. You have to have Wong. You have to have these guys that will show up in different places. And again, I don't think you get that with Terrence Howard. I think Don Cheadle. That's one of my. Later on, when we get to that spark section, one of my sparks is Don Cheadle was a brilliant move.
It was. I agree.
Yeah.
Got to talk about the Monaco attack a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because one of the things we all love seeing is how they're going to create or figure out a new creative way for Stark to put the suit on.
Yeah.
Putting it in a suitcase was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
giving it the football.
Calling
Yeah,
it
give
the
me the football.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
That was so great. I loved that scene. I loved well, you know, we can get into the whole we'll get into that in the spark and fizzle section, but about Mickey Rourke and his whole character. But what an entrance for Whiplash though. Like coming out with the, you know, just, and then when he does that whoosh, 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 over and over again, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great scene. I thought it was really fun. If you watch it, I was watching it really closely too, and watching how the cars would fly over him, and literally as they hit the ground, you saw like the helmets jerk with the movement and everything. And I was like, back then for that kind of detail, that's pretty good. Like, and it aged well. It actually looked pretty good. I mean, you can tell it's like not real, but like it's nothing like some of the shit that I've seen released in the last few years.
Right.
You know, it's like, so for that long ago, I thought that was a pretty cool scene for sure.
Yeah. So this is a part where you and I disagree.
Yeah.
I struggled with the Whiplash character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what would have made it better. And maybe it's because because I didn't see it in the theater, or I didn't see it in the first couple of years it was released. I had to look backwards at it, and maybe that's why it feels so disappointing.
And I'm not a huge Mickey Rourke fan. Like, realistically, like I'm never really cared for him as an actor. Like,
Literally can only tell you one movie he's ever been in.
Which is
Iron Man 2.
Okay, sure, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I'm sure he's been in other stuff.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I will say, you know, to his defense, I can't help but wonder how we would have thought about the character if he had gotten his way with the character, because he wanted to do a very different type of thing. I mean, he went to Russia and studied about Russian prisons and learned Russian, and like all these tattoos and everything all had backstories, all the tattoos on his body, you know, and I think they actually had to move. I think this is the story. I'm not getting this mixed up, but where he actually had a tattoo on his neck that said Loki.
Yeah.
Because it was named after his dog, and they had to remove it because Feige's like, nope.
Yeah, right.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we need a few more years.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Or one more year.
All right, yeah,
Really?
that's right. Yeah. I will say that watching as a guy that, you know, my day job is financial advice and insurance and a bunch of other stuff.
Kind of makes this show so great, honestly.
I know. But watching Tony Stark decide he's going to drive, and I know how race cars are insured.
Right.
And I know how race car drivers are insured.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Tony Stark is a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants.
This was like you're jumping the shark.
Yeah.
You're like, nope, I'm out.
There's no way.
There's no way.
that Stark Industries
really
pays
funny.
the insurance on that. And, you know, like he immediately violated about 3 different contracts from an insurance standpoint and just paid a driver that, you know, anyway, so that, I get it. I get it. I get the character we're trying to find here, which is we're moving more into the Playboy section.
Sure.
I have just become a superhero, and I think everyone should know about it. And I'm certainly a narcissist, but I'm going to keep moving.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll do whatever I want. I'll do whatever I want. You know what? I'm getting in the car. And
well, let's not forget too. There's a lot of subplot there being fueled with that decision, which is that he knew he was dying.
Yeah, that's also true. That's right.
Which was a lot of it. That's
fair.
him. That's him at the
really
birthday
fair.
being drunk. Like, what do I do? What should I do if it was my last birthday?
Yeah.
You know, of course, you know, Romanoff's like, I do whatever I want to with whoever I want to.
Yeah.
And like, it's almost like she was like, as Pepper points out, I'm on to you. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but I get it. You're doing something, you know?
That's right. Yeah. This is, man, at some point we're going to talk about how much I dislike Scarlett Johansson as an actor.
That's fair.
Yeah. But she to me plays pretty 2-dimensional characters until Endgame. I actually was like, oof, that went well.
Yeah.
But yes, she
had a lot of support though.
Yeah.
And a really great storyline.
Yeah, she did. But you're right. I feel like everyone knew. I think everyone knew. Like everyone knew. Like that phrase Pepper says, "I'm on to you." Like we're all like, "Yeah, us too."
Yeah, obviously.
And we don't need to know that she's a secret agent. We're just like, clearly, clearly there's something going on here.
They're not gonna throw Scarlett Johansson into. I guess back then though, she really wasn't that known. She was only like 23 in that movie.
That's true. Right. We didn't know her much as a superstar actor as she is now. But it's also very clear that I almost said product placement, but that was clear like placement of a particular character.
Yeah, for sure. Foreshadowing.
Yeah,
leading
right.
into it.
Right. And I think they did a really great job of like he's dying, he's falling apart, and you know, Pepper remains the stabilizing force. He signs over the company. Like that she
crazy
does.
that he would do that. Like you think about I put this in my notes today actually because I was watching through it. Do you think that character would have done that? You know, it's like you got this like, you know, borderline like obviously like narcissism, this megalomaniacal almost, like he could be the worst and in loves control, loves doing whatever he wants, and it's like in that moment he stopped identifying with his company. It's almost like he was like somehow, well, and also, I mean, of course he was thinking I'm dying again.
Yeah.
And but for him to make that decision so quickly, as though it's like he just came up with it, and you know that he was probably thinking about it, but he just makes it sound like, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
Oh, you ready for a real life anecdote? So I know a guy's name is Jeff. He kind of comes in and out of Chattanooga. He also lives part time in Puerto Rico. He's currently carrying some version of leukemia that seems to not be progressing, but there is no cure.
Yeah.
And so he knows what's going to kill him.
Yeah.
Previous to this, and he's all over social media. At some point, he certainly will end up following us. We'll follow him back. He's a great guy. he's really kind. And he is, now that he has years or days and he doesn't know, he lives his life whatever he wants with whomever he wants. And I met him at a local event, and I said, you know, hey, I'm at the time I was working for an insurance company, and he goes, well, I'm uninsurable and I'm independently wealthy, so I don't know if there's anything you can do for me. Of course, I'm like, bet. Like,
challenge.
Cool. I am a salesman. I'll get after it. But then he said, I'm also divorced and I have no children. And frankly, I have, at this point, he was no longer practicing law. He was a real estate guy. And he goes, and I think the number at the time was, I won't say the number because I'll get it wrong, but it was millions of dollars in real estate assets that were all paid off and paying him income.
Wow.
And he was like, and I was like, what are you going to do with all that? And he goes, I don't know. There's this young gal. I mean, he's probably in his mid-50s. And he goes, there's this young gal. She's in her 20s. She really helped me out. It's a couple of things. And she doesn't have really anything else. I'll probably just give it to her.
Wow.
This is not a relative. This wasn't some person he rescued off the streets. This is just a friend of his who helped him market some stuff early. He likes her and he has nowhere else to give it.
Damn.
And I saw that.
Yeah.
When Tony's going like, oh, who could possibly, you know.
Yeah.
Well, here's this person who was my administrative assistant. Like, you know, wherever they went to college, who cares? They're not pedigreed CEO material, but she's proven to be so good at all this that let's just give it to her.
Yeah.
I mean, so actually for me, that one made the most sense.
Wow.
Of all the decisions he would have made as a guy that's dying, that was the one that made sense.
Well, and they did also allude to the fact, which I guess this kind of brings us on into the gutter. I guess if you're good with that, we'll move on.
Yeah, let's get into the gutter.
The thing that I really loved and did not think about until we started doing the show and I was watching it, and I was thinking about the when he sells all the art right before he gives her the position. Yeah. And she goes, I can't believe that you sold this art. And he gave it to the Boy Scouts of America. and he goes, well, okay. She said, our art collection. He goes, well, okay, first of all, it's my art collection. And she goes, no, I think I can lay, like whatever she says, lay claim to this because I curated this art collection for over 10 years.
Yeah.
That's the first hint we've had of how long she's been with him.
Right.
Because, you know, it's been longer than 10 years. If she was in charge of his art collection 10 years ago and had been curating it that long, she was already in this position she was in probably for a while. Sure. And so you're talking about more than a decade of being with somebody and working with somebody. And so he knew her, in and out. He knew that she was sick the moment she walked in the door. Are you sick? Stay away from me. I don't need anything right now. And then when he first said that, I was like, today I was watching it and I was like, is she really sick though? And then she coughs at the end, and he was like, he was right. Yeah. So like they kind of confirmed that. And I also feel like too, it wasn't until probably the third act that I felt like her character finally was able to kind of get fleshed out a little bit. But before that, it's like she was almost still kind of playing the trope. A lot better from the first movie. But I really loved, and it's kind of interesting to think about like how much history actually is going into that relationship. for him to get up to that point where, this makes perfect sense. I'm going to hand it to the best person I know.
Yeah.
That I trust with my entire life, that has had her hand in my chest.
But who also he nearly killed with strawberries.
He did. Right. And then the flip side of that is just an hour later into the movie, he brings strawberries.
Yeah, that's right. She's like,
you beat me to the punchline. I had that in my notes.
Well, because this is a clear picture of what Tony thinks is progress.
Right.
She goes, you realize this would kill me. And he goes, this is progress. I knew there was something about you and strawberries.
Yeah. And there was a connection there.
It's the opposite of what you planned for, though.
Yeah.
Like, so you got it completely wrong.
Yep.
But I get that you're trying. You're right. Anyway. So that's fascinating. The gutter for me, and this will come back every time we see Tony Stark walk back into a room. He was just fixing something in his suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see it between the Mark V and 6 at the end of this movie. So in the Mark V, he's out. This is in Monaco. He's getting his ass handed to him by Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
The whips are certainly hurting his suit. But then Mark VI, that new and improved, much longer whip, and Whiplash is now like big machine that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
He just wraps it up on his arm and he holds it. And it doesn't hurt. And so there's these things that
he did it in the first one too, on the racetrack. He wraps the whole thing around him to get all the way up to him and then hits him.
But it's burning his suit.
It is true.
It's destroying his suit.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
And so this again is a place. It's an off-camera thing it's subtle that we might actually miss.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that the writers are wanting us to believe, which is that he's fixing these problems.
Yeah.
And he does it every time.
Does it every single movie.
That's right.
You can tie every feature of the new suit to something that happened that almost killed him or somebody else.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It is pretty crazy, yeah, for sure. And and I love the scene where he, like, in an afternoon discovers a new element.
That's right. Yeah.
Granted, he had a lot of help from his dad, but
that's right. That's right.
And I do love, honestly, the heart behind when I love the scene. I still love it. I still get goosebumps a little bit when he's sitting there 100% sure that his dad hated him, pretty much, right? And then, like, he's listening to these takes over and over again on this old film, and then he goes, Tony, and he looks up at it like, oh my God, is my dad talking to me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, love that scene.
Yeah.
And he talks right to him and says the exact thing that Nick Fury said was true.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and honestly, that was, and now I love that too, because talking about the gutter, there's so much to allude to with Howard Stark being one of the founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
And, like, that could be a show. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. That could be an episodic thing, like just him developing and him, like, he was so close. And I love in the video and the clip on the film, he says, I can't remember what he says, but I'm going to paraphrase it, basically being like, I was almost there. I almost did it, but I just don't have the capabilities with the technology I have. So this is always meant for you. That's and right. I thought that was such a cool scene, because what guy doesn't have baggage with his dad, right? And so, like, I think that was such a cool scene. And of course that basically, like, unlocked for him the opportunity to go back and do it again. And honestly, I feel like that was the moment that he basically was freed from the curse of the shadow of his father and trying to get out from under that. Because from that point on, he became a different Tony Stark. Yeah. From that point on. He literally finished what his dad started in an afternoon and then creates a suit that's 10 times more powerful. Right. And then, goes on to do everything else that he's doing. We don't ever really hear about his dad again until Endgame. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He has that moment. It's like, Civil War. Sure. But that's a whole separate thing. I do love that moment. He's like, it tastes like coconut and metal. Like and then he does the yell that you made fun of in the first movie. Yeah. He did it, and I immediately thought of you. I was like, we got to bring that up, because now that you've pointed it out, it's not believable at all. I'm like, you need to not do that. Dude, I think that's right. We're gonna talk about a yell when we come to Thor too, because there's a great moment where it's so rough. And to be fair, having been a little bit in front of a camera and on stage, sharing big emotions, on stage or in front of a camera, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Sure. In fact, mechanically, crying and laughing can look almost identical. Yeah. Like the actual mechanical motions. A lot of actors get away with that too. Right. That's right. That's right. I have a story that's really jacked up about me getting away with that. I was laughing at a funeral. Oh, okay. I was having a hard, and I couldn't, and it was at a point where. Do tell.
Yeah. So, okay. So I was sitting next to one of my best friends,
Uh-huh.
and we all work together. And the third of our best friends, his mother passed away.
Okay.
And I mean, she was darling.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good man. And so there's a row of colleagues. This is when I worked at the foundation, and like there's about 9 of us sitting in this pew, and me and my best friend are sitting right here, and we have a lot of good chemistry and rhythm. Like it's fine. So we're looking across the. Oh, I'm looking.
Sitcom energy.
Yeah.
I
That's
got
right.
you. Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and the pastor's preaching the eulogy, and they're doing the whole thing, and in the other row, about six rows up in the other aisle, somebody starts to fall asleep, and they're falling asleep, and they're like, doing this number, and all
like a
I
toddler.
did, oh my gosh, and all I did was so my buddy Eddie is sitting next to me, and I went, and he goes, no, and I started to laugh. And now
And of course, you got the giggles because you're not
because
supposed to be laughing.
supposed to laugh at a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So I reach forward for a tissue, and I put it over my nose, and I do this right here, and I'm dying. I had to get up.
Yeah.
I had to get up, go to the bathroom, and ugly cry, ugly laugh at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Of course, then I come out of the bathroom, and the funeral's over.
Yeah.
So now all of my colleagues, and most of them were like mothers to me, like they were older women.
Okay.
And I remember one of them, her name is Christine. I hope she listens to this episode. She came to me, she's like, "Are you okay?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "I think so."
You just played it off. You're like, it's easier to go with it at this point.
And Eddie looks at me like, "You bastard."
Yeah.
Like he's watching me get the sympathy for having laughed at the funeral.
And the family's like, man, he really knew him.
How did he... Did you guys... Were you close?
Yeah, like, I don't even know who this person is, and he's back there crying.
That's right, yeah. So
You should have played it up like you were like a secret lover.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But so to kind of take it back to these moments where people are like yelling or grunting or laughing or crying, they actually are really hard. Robert Downey Jr. is an incredible actor.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's how do you throw that much emotion? You're getting pumped full of kilojoules of new energy. You were dying, now your life is not dying. You're no longer poisoning yourself. Like it all happens all at once.
Yeah. It gives us like this major obvious the second chance both physically and emotionally in the same day.
In the same day. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So talk about hit a high. Maybe I would make a weird face too.
Yeah, and make crazy noises.
Yeah.
Scream.
Yeah.
For sure.
Totally.
All right, that brings us to the spark and fizzle.
For me, primary spark here is I think they did a great job. We've already said this, but I think they did a great job bringing Cheadle in over Terrence Howard.
Mm-hmm.
That set a new tone for my best friend Rhodey.
Yeah.
That was very different.
Yep.
That one nailed it for me. Tony's immaturity, like him grappling with dying.
Yeah.
And him just like giving stuff away and throwing it all away and not talking to anybody, that actually hit for me. 'Cause
Sure.
It's very human.
It's very human and very believable for his character.
Right.
Because that he would just be like nothing. I mean, because he was never, as much as he loved nice things, he actually doesn't, to me, come across as that materialistic overall. He cares more about the pursuit of things and like, the invention of
Making
things.
cool
Like,
shit.
yeah, his brain is like locked on to, which I get. I'm a musician. I love being in the studio. You leave me alone too long, I'll forget to eat and sleep. Like that's how I very much relate to his like tinkering in the the basement or whatever in his workshop. I get that. I feel that.
Yep. That part of the story for me was actually very relatable.
Yeah.
I really liked that. And then I like that we got a real Nick Fury.
Yep.
That one really landed for me. What about you? What was really sparking you?
A few things. I'm going to say this just because you just said how much you don't like Scarlett Johansson's acting. I think that what she brought to the movie physically with, bear with me here. Physically, in terms of the physicality that she gave to the role when because she gave a lot of her life, like months and months and months of training with like how to do like, judo, jujitsu, how to like use your body weight to take people that are grown men down and like doing what became the infamous like scissor kick takedown thing that I think they called, I have it in my notes here somewhere. They called it the I can't remember what it is. They called it the widow throws.
Oh yeah,
Her and her
Yep.
body double.
Yep.
But she did a lot of it, and so like and of course that famous dance that you see her do in the hallway, which set up the perfect thing later on when we get to Black Widow.
Why do you do this?
The sister does it
because
naturally, and she went. Ugh. It's like, and if Scarlett Johansson did nothing else but give us Florence Pugh as her sister,
Oh yeah.
I'm okay with it because Florence Pugh, her character as her sister, whatever her name is, what is her name in the movie? Like
Yelena.
Yelena actually is one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Heard.
By a long shot.
Totally.
And I think that
Yes.
she delivers it so well. That was the best thing about the Hawkeye TV show.
That's right. That's right. Are you saying my last name just so that you want me to know that I know you know my last name and you're trying to intimidate me? Yes, that is what I'm doing. You're like, oh,
You got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Want some macaroni?
Yeah, I made this macaroni for you. Let's eat a meal. There's no reason for us to... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Such a good
one.
Such a good character.
Yeah.
All in.
But yeah, so I actually did like because we hadn't really seen. I mean, before that, it's all been just like, somebody either hulking out and punching through walls, or you have like,
Yes.
Tony up until this point has been pretty like. His hand-to-hand combat has not been great, and even though he had a robot, or not a robot, but an AI, basically dictating his moves, as we saw in Civil War, so we know that was probably happening then too. We just didn't get to see it. I think that was really cool. It kind of gives you that like spy-esque vibe, the way that she when she takes down everybody in the hallway before Happy finishes.
He's like,
with one
I got
guy.
him,
and then he's like the body's laying on the ground. So that was cool. I actually really liked. As much as cringy as he was, I actually liked Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer because I thought that you needed somebody who was just pathetic next to Tony, right?
Yes.
Like he thought he was just as good. He thought Tony was just this overblown, blown out of proportion. And so I like that. And apparently he watched Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, George C. Scott in The Hustler, and Bill Murray in The Kingpin for inspiration for that part.
Okay.
And one of the really funny things is Hammer, what he brought to Hammer's character is the sweet tooth. That's why he's always eating cake or like lollipops. He has something in his mouth every single scene, which is another thing Brad Pitt loves to do. He did that in all the Ocean's movies. And so that's kind of a funny, I love to see how actors will interpret the character in a way that makes sense, and adds just a little extra depth, like the right amount. You need the right amount. Sometimes I feel like actors over analyze that, and they made a really great in the MCU. They made a really great kind of profile of that in Wonder Man. Sometimes you can overthink it too much, and you work your way out of a job every single time.
Right.
But I love that. I love the Downey Rockwell banter. Fun fact that I didn't mention earlier, Rockwell actually met his wife on this set because she's married to Christine, the Vanity Fair spread girl.
Oh, really?
So they met on this set, and I would assume in the first scene they were in together, which was at the Monaco.
Yeah.
And so, they're still married to this day. That's why he was in White Lotus in the season that she was in. I don't know if you watched that. Incredible season.
Is it?
Big slow burn. Every White Lotus season is a slow burn, but that one you should watch it for nothing else than Parker Posey's character in it. She should have won every award. Wow. I think it was the most comedic, the most interesting, the accent, everything about it was amazing. But he gives the best monologue in that show.
Oh, okay.
It's jaw dropping. It's awful. You're gonna love it. But I loved him in this movie, and I will say too, really the third act altogether, I really enjoyed. It was the third act that I think we should have gotten in the first movie because it wasn't just two robots fighting each other. It was a bunch of robots fighting each other. Yeah, that's
right. Yep.
And and you got the hammer drones, which was fun. I thought that was a really fun little thing.
Yep.
And the only thing I guess that is kind of silly was when Vanko comes in his suit at the end after they've destroyed all these bots, and you're like, all right, this just feels like a boss in a video game. You thought you did it, and then it's like, oh, but here's the big boss, But outside of that, and the scene in the park in the garden, where it's him and Rhodey, and they get to do their thing for the first time ever. Yeah. And of course he does the lasers, and then he goes, maybe next time lead with that. He's like, well, it was a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's right.
You can only do it once.
But also you do get to see Rhodey in that scene where they're in the garden, is it the Japanese garden, whatever. And he's analyzing, okay, one of us needs to take the high ground, one of us needs to draw the fire.
Right.
And he's like, because this right here, this is the kill box. And that's whenever everybody comes around, you're like, shit.
Yeah. It's like we waited too long.
15 seconds too long.
They
That's
were just
right.
arguing about it. Yeah,
That's
was
right.
pretty great. It was that was actually, I remember I was watching it today and was like, this was actually a more surprisingly enjoyable third act that I really enjoyed. I thought it was fun. For all of the superhero movies I love to watch and all the things, like, action gets old after a while.
Yeah.
It gets really predictable, and I thought that this was an interesting kind of way to like make it innovative. The way that they kind of like move around them and like all the choreography that happened with the bots and stuff. I thought that was kind of fun, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the fizzle for you?
Yeah. Fizzle for me, man, I had a hard time with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that...
Really? We didn't know that by now.
Yeah. And of all the people that I've badmouthed in this episode, that's the one I should be scared of. Just keep talking shit about Mickey Rourke.
I don't know. Did you see him on the Big Brother All Stars in England or whatever? I didn't, but I saw clips from it with him and JoJo Siwa, and he ended up getting kicked off the show because he was like being not good.
Yeah,
very cancel worthy.
Oh,
yeah, towards her and like
okay.
other people. It was just a whole thing. But he looks pretty rough now, so I wouldn't be too worried about him.
Well, so that's actually part of it for me is like we're supposed to be sold that he was this brilliant physicist, who was trained by his father, a brilliant physicist, but because he went into prison, he now looks like a thug, a gangster, a Russian bratva like gangster. And so the gold teeth, that was him, he added that.
Right.
That was not, he added that at his own
with
expense.
The tattoos, with the bird. The
bird
was also him. Yeah.
And all of it, like, I kind of get the bird because it kind of humanizes a little bit, gives you something to, like, what is he doing when he's by himself? Here's another gutter moment. What is he doing when he's by himself?
Right.
For hours on end. He's not just working.
Right.
And so, okay, when playing with a bird, whatever. Okay, fine. But yeah, it felt too grimy for me. Like it didn't feel like a serious physicist who could come up with real weapons that could combat the Iron Man suit.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah, that's right.
I liked it for that reason.
The moment I said that and I saw the look on your face, I was like, I'm wrong. I mean, like, I'm not. Yeah, that's right. But
agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I used to hate that character. I used to think he wasn't a very good villain. I still don't think he's necessarily a good villain. Like Hammer's supposed to be the real villain, and he's terrible. And so, he overplayed his hand big time with Vanko. And so I think that, there's a lot to that story that just didn't really sit with me. But this time I was watching it again, and I've seen this movie obviously many times, and I don't know. I kind of overlook a lot of that stuff these days. I will say one of the things that I did appreciate about his storyline being included was how violent he was that you never saw. Yeah. Like that's another gutter moment. How did he hang all of those guys that were watching him? Like, how did that happen?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question.
And they were probably already dead by the time they got up there, so they were just for decoration. And also, like when you first walk into that room that he was being held in, and you see all these computers and the cables being pulled from the ceiling, and it was just this mess of like, this was his new command center, and it was like in the room. Why didn't you just go to the room where there was likely a command center somewhere? Why'd you have to make it in that room? But it looked crazy when you walk in. You're like, God, this room's been destroyed. Yeah. And there's people hanging from the ceiling.
And I guess maybe that may actually have been it. And maybe I'll come back to this and change my mind. But between like a guy that's got a couple of whips on his hand, and he not even really wearing a whole shirt, whenever in the Monaco moment, and the sort of, again, the grimy, disheveled, chaotic, scenes. I think it distracted me the first couple of times I watched it. It may end up being something that's endearing to me over time, but I didn't like that. I don't think it landed for me. The other one that I really, as a guy that sells stuff in a industry where there are a lot of bad actors, I feel like the Justin Hammer character was a little over the top for me. That's fair. And again, I was looking back after watching Killian from Iron Man 3. What's the guy that played the Mandarin? Aldrich Killian. That's after watching Aldrich Killian, whom I thought did a really good job. Yeah. Of being a nefarious,
very similar character,
but being a nefarious weapons dealer.
Yeah.
Like what I saw with Hammer is like comedically incompetent to the point where I was like, "There's no way this guy gets to the top of a company."
Yeah, you would think that until now. In real life, we have all kinds of incompetent people that are the head of the whole country.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Again,
Not to alienate our listeners, but
I guess it really doesn't matter who's at the top. They could be totally incompetent. Yeah, that's right.
Be keeping secrets in a bathroom, in public bathroom, Anyway,
invade Iran on a whim or whatever.
Yeah,
just
whatever.
to distract us from a case.
Yeah. Or whatever.
That's right.
I mean, that's kind of like, I think that a lot of that has to do with the rush timeline too. I think that there's a lot of writing. There was a lot of things that had they been given more time, had Jon Favreau been able to do it the way he wanted to do it, it could have been a very different situation, I think. And so, there was no finished script when filming began, similar to well, I won't say similar to Iron Man 1. They had a script. They just changed it a lot as they got into the scenes, which I think is fine. But when you go into a movie and you're like, I don't really know what's even going to happen in this movie.
Reminds me of that scene in The Office where Michael Scott's character is like, sometimes I start a sentence and I don't really know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's an adventure for everybody.
That's right. Everyone. And then on top of that, you have somebody who's such massive improvisation skills like Robert Downey Jr., carrying scenes like that Senate hearing, and it was the like at the end of it where he's like, "Fuck you, buddy."
Yeah,
right. The senator is like, he's had enough. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, film's legacy.
Yeah.
So for me, this one is really Iron Man 1 may have been like, the sort of first rock that starts the avalanche.
Yeah,
but we went from having one hero to having Iron Man, we have Happy, we have the Widow, we have Fury, we have the War Machine. Like, we just went from having 1 to 5. Like, we just saw the universe expand.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually, for me, for all of my criticism of the actual execution of this movie, this is a really important moment, particularly in the Iron Man franchise, for us to see the world as larger. And as you said, coming up in the Stinger, that you're starting to see this world has just gone wide.
Yeah.
There's a lot more here.
Yeah, we can end there too. I think that talking about the Stinger, that was the first time that we got the insinuation that this was going to be a much bigger universe than we thought. Like, I remember when I saw that in theaters for the first time, and I went, okay, this is going to be big. Like, this might be like completely different from anything we've ever seen before. Yeah. And man, boy, was it.
It really was.
Really called it there, young Cody.
Right. Yeah, 2.5 decades later, 2 middle-aged dudes are sitting in it, they're still talking about it.
Still talking about it.
Talking about how broad that is. And as well we should. So that's right. Yeah, I think we're on the same page on that. The real gift of this moment in the MCU is that we are invited into a much bigger story. This is not going to be a simple trilogy of a simple hero. It's going to be a pretty complex story.
Some big things happened at the end of the movie too. I mean, in terms not just the movie itself, but like behind the scenes that really directed the storytelling for the future. Yeah. I mean, originally was instead of Scarlett Johansson, it was supposed to be Emily Blunt.
Oh yeah.
And she was contractually obligated to do
Mary Poppins.
No, that was way before Mary Poppins. Oh. She was it was Gulliver's Travels.
So much worse.
Yeah, she really did not want to do it.
Did you see Gulliver's Travels?
No.
Actually, it's not terrible.
Really?
I mean, if you want a slapstick Jack Black comedy, because you have to be in the mood for that,
right?
But if you want a slapstick Jack Black, it's actually solid.
Well, I think that we can leave it there. I think that's a good place to end it. Next up, we've got
Thor.
You've been talking about it. You're so excited.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah. This is a little teaser for the upcoming episode. This one was actually the start of a spiritual transformation for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
We can get into some real personal stories in this one, maybe.
We might.
All right, I'm okay with that.
Cool.
All right, cool. Everybody, go join the Wonderkin. You can find all of these links at wonderbrospod.com. This episode, you'll be listening to this, it's about a month after we recorded it, but I just finished all that today. There's actually a website with links on it. I did it all.
That's right.
So yeah, it's actually there. I know for a fact that when I'm telling you that, I know what it looks like.
Yeah,
It's
I got to
actually
see
there.
it today. Man, you did a great job.
Thanks.
I'm really, really looking forward to this. This is not your first podcast. It's my first, and man, well, this has been a damn gift. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more to come for sure. All right, we'll see you next time with Thor. See you next week.